Mike and Tom are registered with Stewart Partners Global Advisory LLC.
Common Sense Finance with Mike Wiginton and Tom Farrell of HL Wiginton Capital Management, an independent investment and financial planning firm in downtown Jasper. Mike is a chartered financial analyst charter holder, and Tom is a certified financial planner professional. They are here to discuss and give their thoughts on current financial and economic matters. Now, with Common Sense Finance, here are Mike and Tom. Welcome back to another edition of Common Sense Finance. This is Mike Wiginton. I'm Tom Farrell. You know, Mike, you probably get this too. People will approach me and say, hey, I would like to, for you to do some work for me, but I don't have much money, and you probably don't work with people in my financial situation. You only work with wealthy people. What do you say about that? I mean, I think that's the perception out there most people have about financial advisors.
Well, there's been plenty of studies. I don't know how accurate the studies are. You get into how the questions were framed. There's been plenty of studies that back that up. I've read them. You've read them. It's a bit of a loaded question. I mean, who's wealthy? It's always the other guy that's wealthy. Number one. That always seems to kind of ride on the coattails of that. Well, advisors are too expensive. But if you look at the data, it's crazy because I think the last survey I remember was that 95% of the people that use advisors says they're worth every penny. Okay, there is that do-it-yourself group out there. That's just the way they're wired, and that's fine. Different strokes for different folks.
Right.
But I would say I read on a website, thebalance.com, and they referenced two studies. One study by Vanguard that showed that people that use an advisor earn on average 3% more. 3% more a year.
Right.
They referenced another study by the Russell Group that's they refer to that as advisor alpha, the what you would earn using an advisor versus not, and if it's a positive number, it's called advisor alpha. Mm-hmm. So in the Vanguard study, it was 3%. In the Russell study, it was 3.75%.
Right.
Which surprised me. Those are significant numbers,
especially over a long period of time. That makes a huge difference.
Absolutely. So I think that it's always struck me that a lot of the responses you get to that, they're only for the wealthy, or they're too expensive, things like that, are basically emotional arguments that are not grounded in fact.
Right.
And I would like to think, I don't know how you feel about this, but I would like to think that maybe one of the I don't know if it's an intended consequence or unintended consequence of doing things on social media like this podcast would maybe to broaden people's thinking about those sorts of things.
Yeah. Well, and like you said, most of the decision making or those misconceptions are not due to factual information. It's due to maybe some information that's been muddled up and it's not accurate at all.
And I'd be interested to know your thoughts on this. In every single study, and this has been going on for a long, long period of time. This is nothing new. In every single study that I've seen, they said, the number one benefit was that using a financial advisor would keep you in the market when if left on your own, you'd otherwise be out of the market. And we know this, don't we? The great example of that was in March of 2020 when the coronavirus pandemic hit.
Yep.
And how many people did you coach through that?
Yep.
And then again in the fall of 2020 when all the talk was about elections, and how many people did you coach through that?
Yep.
And
a lot of it is keeping people from making emotional decisions, and because typically when you get in that situation, you're not going to make the best decision long term. So, but yeah, that makes sense.
Well, and that doesn't even begin to touch on, which we won't do it today, on the value of of more thoughtful work in the financial planning and estate planning matters, which we've discussed that plenty. But anyway, totally agree with you. Nothing else to say on that.
Nope.
We'll see you next time.